You are now watching Believe. Do you believe?
Horns Up, Talking Texas podcast. Joshua Fisher, Alexander Tossman, the Rock Tosopoulos, DJ Nikki Snacks Crider. We're back. We beat Iowa State in a close one, so get your horns up because here we go. Horns Up, Talking Texas pod. We barely, it's never going to be enjoyable. That's just, everyone has to come to terms with that.
It was enjoyable a couple weeks ago.
It was it was enjoyable a couple weeks ago. I was there for that. Shout out to my parents for being the good luck charms at the Cotton Bowl. We have another guy joining us, though. This man played for the Horns, DB last year. Now he's in the NFL. Was a wide receiver, transferred over to us, was supposed to go to Arizona. Luckily, we snagged him over in Texas, played a couple years at Longhorn, now a New England Patriot, doing great work over there in the special teams. Brenden Schooler joining the fellas. Brenden, how we doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Happy to be here.
Yeah, we are stoked to have you. There's such an interesting path you took. I will just start with the heavy right away. What was maybe the most surprising thing looking back on the way your college football career went? Was it the transferring? Was it, the switching of positions? What was the most surprising thing you felt kind of along the way? Because it's just a wild journey.
Yeah, I think it started like from the get-go. It was just surprising. Where out of high school, I had one offer to the University of Wyoming. And, I chose to decline that offer and not sign with them on signing day because nothing against, the Mountain West, but I was like, I can play at a Power 5 school. Like I know where I belong. And so ended up signing with Oregon June 30th. So I was enrolled at a JC. I was about to go there. Oregon came around, put me through a private workout, had the head coach down there, DC down there, my position coach, John Neal. He's the reason why I got there. So shout out John Neal. Mm-hmm. But put me through a private workout. And then a week later, they're like, yeah, we got a spot for you. Roll up 2 days before fall camp started, missed summer bridge, summer workouts, all that. Next thing I know, I made the 2 deep at corner and I'm starting on kickoff, the opening kickoff as a true freshman. And so I like get on the phone with my parents. I'm like, you all got to come up to this game. Like I'm going to be playing. And so they scramble, find plane tickets, get up there, see me play, and had a pretty good freshman season. And then, between all the head coaches leaving, I think I had 3 different head coaches in 3 years, position switch from safety to receiver when I was up there, and then broken foot, transferred, COVID happened, transferred again, get to Texas. And then I get there and, play receiver, boom, that whole staff gets wiped out. New staff comes in. And then I switched back to safety where I started at. And, that was only freaking half the journey. And then to get to like where I'm at right now, it's just been another one hell of a journey, undrafted, going up to New England, having to prove myself, earn the respect from the coaches, the players, everybody in the building, and then go out there and just do what I've loved to do since I've been 8 years old.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a really easy go lucky coach up there in North. So
I'm sure that I'm sure that in the NFL, it's a little bit harder to make that switch because you really have to focus in on one position. But you look at a guy like Taysom Hill on the Saints who comes in as a quarterback. He's utilized as a running back sometimes. He's on special teams. He lines up as tight end. Like, if it's an option for you, or I don't know if you've had this conversation with your agents or with anybody in the coaching staff, like, would you see yourself be able to be used in multiple roles, special teams, as well as, offensively and defensively?
Yeah, I would love to. And, you got 2 prime examples with Matthew Slater, who, played receiver, was an all-pro bowler, special teamer, probably future Hall of Famer. And then you have, Julian Edelman, who played defense, plays offense, was special teams. So they have a history of using guys, wherever they need them. And I'd be, more than happy to whatever the team needs, man. Go out there. If I got to play left tackle, I'll play left tackle to the best of my ability. If they want me at receiver, safety, I just love being out there playing ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's another guy who we think will be playing on Sundays. Definitely. We were talking about him on Saturday morning. Somebody asked us for his player comp. Can you speak a little bit to Roshan Johnson, man? Because he's a guy we love on the show, and he's another guy that switched positions coming into Texas. I would just love to hear kind of like, being around him, some of the similarities you saw in your guys' mentalities, kind of like doing whatever the team needs first kind of mentality.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he was brought in as a quarterback at
Yep.
first, and then got moved to moved to running back. You know, I think that was the smart decision right there. But getting to play with Roe, the first thing you notice is just like the love of the game that he has.
Mhm.
I mean, the kid just plays with his hair on fire, and it's just you can feel the passion when he's out there. I mean, I think it was last week against Iowa State. He goes down and just thumps the kickoff returner, and, makes a big solo tackle as a running back. And coaches at this level, they see that. They see, running backs who are big and fast can run down the field and make plays. Like, you're only adding value for yourself. So getting to play with him, it like amped my game up. I was like, okay, well, he's bringing the juice. Well, I'm going to have to match that energy and bring the juice with him. And I mean, the kid just loves the game. Like, he's in the film room all the time. He's always in the building, film room, getting treatment, when he wasn't in class or had, other obligations. So, I mean, it's just like, everything you want in a teammate, that's Ro right there. That's Roshan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you saw many regimes, honestly. What's like the biggest difference maybe you saw in the Herman regime versus the Sark regime? Positively.
Yeah, I would say the willingness and like the wanting to when Sarkisian came in the building. I think it was like a breath of fresh air. And not that Herman didn't have players that wanted to play for him, but it was just like kind of a fresh start for a lot of guys on the team. And you had guys really buying in, and I think we had a lot of leaders on the team who were older guys who were taking a lot of the guys who were on the fence of like, oh, I'm buying in, or I'm gonna go do my own thing, bringing them onto that side of I'm buying in. So I think it was just like kind of the perfect storm of guys that were bought in, who were leaders, who were upperclassmen, that were bringing those guys with them. And I think you kind of see that translate this year, where like last year we didn't have the best record. But this year you see guys just like balling out, buying in, obeying to the culture and trusting the process and trusting these coaches that, if we listen to what they say, we do it for each other, we do it for the love of the game, that we're going to have a great record, and that's going to take care of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, how challenging? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
No, I was just going to say that, just to piggyback off you, that you see the difference in these guys just kind of doing things unselfishly. Like we mentioned Roshan and Keelan Robinson, right? Making the most of his opportunities on special teams as well. There's just so many guys at other programs where they kind of have that ego. If they're not the starting guy at their position, like they're going to transfer right off the bat, like even if they're a freshman. And, right now we've got guys who are just fully bought in, who just want to go out there and make plays for their team. And I just think there's a culture change from the last few years to now.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I mean, like, luckily when I was at Oregon, I had guys who would come back who played in the league, and they would speak to the team. And one of the first things they would say is like, you want to make it in the league, if you're undrafted and if you're not, a top first, second round pick, like you have to play special teams. And kind of just hearing that from multiple people, it's like, okay, well, something's clicking here. I gotta do something. And I've always kind of taken special teams, very, very seriously. And it's like, you have offense, defense, and special teams, and you can lose and win a game out of one of those three. And so you got to take all three of them just as serious as you do offense or defense. And I didn't care that I was a starting safety. Like, I was on every special teams. I was out there. You're going to have to drag me off the field, because I'm going to be damned if I put some guy who doesn't care as much as I do out there. He messes up, and that causes us to lose the game.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You always see that special teams players are the ones that kind of have the most heart on the team. I mean, they're just out there. They put the 12th man for Texas A&M out there because he's the guy who's the most passionate, right? To go out just to knock someone's head off.
Hell yeah.
You ran a pretty nice 40 time at your pro day.
That wasn't bad.
Yeah. Was that something where you looked at that day as a real opportunity to really make a name for yourself and show off like your attributes? Was that something? Because a lot of guys are going into that, especially at a school like our alma mater at Texas or Oregon, right? And they might already know what round they're going to be drafted in. You mentioned before we got on that Justin Herbert was your roommate when you first got to Oregon. Like, that guy knew he was being drafted in the top 10 picks, right? There wasn't much he had to do extra at pro day. But was that something that you really challenge yourself to go out there and make an impact and make a name for yourself?
Yeah, 100%. And like every time you go out and you perform in front of, coaches, scouts, agents, whatever it is, like you want to put your best foot forward. And I think that was kind of my mentality going into it. It's like leading into pro day, I trained as hard as I could for as long as I could, ate everything right, didn't drink, didn't do any of that stuff, kind of took care of what I needed to take care of. And going into pro day, it was just like, okay, well, this is what you've been waiting for. This is what you've been training for. This is every, wind sprint that you've had in college, every time you're like, I hate this. I hate, football right now. Class sucks. All that led up to this moment. So it's like, you really don't have a choice but to go out, put your best foot forward, because whether you started football when you were, in second grade, or you started in high school, like it's been your dream since you were a kid pretty much to go play in the NFL, especially if you're like a football player. And so it's like, well, this is an opportunity of a lifetime right now, where I get to sit in front of all 32 teams, go out, show, how fast I am, how high I can jump, all the intangibles that I know I have, and I get to do it in front of them. So, I mean, for me, it was just an opportunity of a lifetime where I could, take one step closer to living out my dream.
Yeah. What's your mentality with pressure then, in a sense? Because like, obviously you come on as an undrafted rookie, right? So the pressure to make the rosters there, the pressure to perform well, and you're going to have to tell us exactly what you ate and drank the morning of your 4-4-1 40 time. You're not getting out with the show without telling us. And the Longhorn fan base and media, there's it's borderline. It's not it may not be the New York Yankees, but it's close. It's a really tough place to play. So what's your process maybe of taking in the positive, blocking out the negative, or taking it all in and maybe dealing with the pressures of, making teams and obviously playing to the best of your ability on a big campus?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that I kind of fall back on is what kind of my dad raised my brother and I up on. It's like you can't control, what the media says about you. You can't control, what all this outside noise is telling you. What you can control is like you showing up every day, putting in the work, not leaving any regret. Like there have been plenty of times where I was like, I do not want to finish this set of squat right now, but I know my skinny legs need it. So we're going to have to get under this bar and we're going to have to move some weight. Just like shutting out the outside noise. That's the biggest thing. Like here we have like these sayings on our wall when you walk in and out of the building. It's like, don't feel the hype, ignore the outside noise, control you can control, be the best teammate you can be. And it's just like all those ring so true. It's like, who cares what people tell about you? Like the whole like handing Coach Belichick the ball thing, like those comments of those guys were like, oh, he's getting cut tomorrow, like all this. I'm like, bro, like I don't care what you have to say. You're like a troll on Instagram, Twitter, like whatever it is. Like I'm going to worry about what the people in that building have to say about me, because at the end of the day, that's the only opinion that matters. Is like those guys in the building, my teammates and my coaches.
I thought it was sick.
We all loved it. I mean, you talked about, it was great. At Oregon, I mean, you just mentioned this, that there were guys that were, pros coming back. Sounds like their advice was really pivotal in at least like shaping how you approached, just the game, practice, everything, lifestyle. When your coaches are changing that frequently, is that a major aspect of what helped your development and growth just as an individual and as a person in college? Because it's quite difficult, as we mentioned, like the change from Herman to Sark, and some guys saw Mac, Charlie, and Herman, right? Some guys saw three coaches, three completely different staffs, and that's happening in college all the time now. Guys getting different opportunities to go coach their own program, or just, to jump from a QB coach to an OC somewhere, or whatever it is. Like, is it about the relationships with your teammates and the former pros? Like, how instrumental are those pieces in a college player's development?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I kind of had to learn this the hard way going up to Oregon and having, 3 different staffs, is I loved my DB coach when he pulled me up there. Like Coach Neal, he was an awesome dude. Had me and a couple other guys over for dinner here and there, just like a good, genuine dude, great coach. And so really looked up to him. And so when that staff got let go, it's like, okay, well, who do I look up to now? Being a young guy still, you find the guys who do the right thing on and off the field, like in your teammates, and you kind of like look up to them as a role model and as kind of like a guide on how to do things right. And I think that 2016 class we had at Oregon, we went, what was it, like 4-7? Like we had a terrible record. Like we were garbage, 4-8, whatever it was. And we kind of like had this moment after that season. It's like, quote, we never want to feel this again. So like as a freshman class, when we finished, our ride in that 2019 season, that they went to the Rose Bowl, I unfortunately had already decided to step away from the team because I had a broken foot, medical red shirt. There was a bunch of stuff that was going on. But getting to be part of like that mentorship of like kind of helping other young players, like, look, this is how I learned to do stuff. It's worked. We're on the right direction. Follow me. Let's go. And so having those older guys that to look up to was huge in like setting the mindset of how you want to be, the next season, because those guys aren't going to be there. You're going to have one team once because it just cycles through. So having to, take advantage of every opportunity you can and learn as much as you can from all those older guys, because they've been through stuff too. And we played with guys who were on national championship teams at Oregon, so listening to what they had to say and how they did stuff was like, I think super pivotal in like us forming the culture that we wanted and that we needed.
Yeah.
And it comes around. I mean, it comes around for you because look, now you're in the NFL and like there's guys that you have to look up to now. Like, are there any guys in that locker room that you stay close with that have been mentored to you? I mean, you mentioned Slater already, and I don't know how much Jules comes back to the organization, but there's got to be some guys, right?
Yeah, Matthew Slater, Cody Davis, Joe Cardona, Nick Folk, Jake Bailey, like all those guys, like in the special teams room, like I look up to those guys like older brothers just because they've been in the league. I think Jake's going on year 4 now, but that's still 4 more years than I've been in the league. So like, what do I know? I'm gonna listen to you guys and just hear whatever you have to say, and really lean on Matt and Cody just for like advice on the field, off the field, and like Jake and I, talk about finances, like what I should invest my money in now so I can make money down the road, more money down the road. So just like having guys to talk to about that stuff, and same with Joe. I mean, it's been awesome. Like I love getting to play for those guys. Like whenever someone makes a play on the field, it's like, where are my boys? Like I need to celebrate right now with them. Like you work so hard and you only get so many opportunities to make those kind of plays, that when you do it, just so much better that you get to celebrate with those guys who you work so hard with and you look up to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like, thank God they allowed celebrations back in the NFL. It was such a gong show.
It was
like,
ridiculous.
We don't need the Joe Horn, like pull the cell phone out of the goalpost.
Yeah.
We need something, a little juice. I mean, come on. We want to know a little bit about a little Herbie Fully Loaded, because we know you play with him at Oregon and he's an absolute. And you know what? Talk about the Monday night game though. Special teams was the difference.
Yeah.
Special
all across the board.
There.
That was pretty much the whole game.
What do you think about our QB right now, the mullet? What are you seeing from him? He's every bit as advertised, it seems. But last game against Iowa State, he was a little chill, a little almost too chill, too like it's good at the end of the game to have him calm in that big 4th down moment. But I would love to see him foot on the gas the entire game. And it seems like sometimes he takes the pressure off and goes a little Cali on us. What are you seeing from like a wide receiver perspective and a defensive back perspective? How do those perspectives really kind of change? Maybe of like two sides of your brain, not entirely sure. But what do you really see from number 3 over there?
I mean, the first thing that I saw was that Bama game. That was the first game I really got to watch them play. And when I saw him out there slinging the ball, I was like, yeah, this kid's going to be special. And just like his composure on that stage, I'm just like, dude, this kid looks like he's been there for 4 years now. So just getting to see him go out there and do his thing and feed the guys on the team who are going to make plays. And, I hear it all the time at this level. It's like, as a quarterback, get the ball to the guys who make plays, and that's when we'll start moving the ball. Like, you don't need to hold the ball forever. Like, get it to the guys that are going to do the work. You just be the commander of the offense and make plays when you need to make them. And so I think that's what I've seen him do, is just be back there, be that poised guy in the back, in the pocket, And it's almost, you want him to show emotion, but at the same time, like being cool hand Luke, I think calms everybody else down in times of like being frantic. And, things may not be going your way, but if you have a guy back there who's like, bro, we got this. Just give me the ball. I'll get it out to our playmakers and we're going to be fine. And so I think him having that cool hand Luke to him is only going to help the team, especially in like close games, like the Bama game was before he got knocked out, and in the Iowa State game. Like, I don't think if he was as poised as he was, then it could have gone a different way.
Yeah, the confidence is just oozing out of him, and I know that he's your successor in taking best hair off the Texas Longhorn football team. I mean, he's got the best set of hair right now. But yeah, the confidence is just out of this world for that kid. You've got some OU teammates. How was the banter after the ass whooping that we handed to them?
I mean, I walked in the locker room and I kind of gave them the look, and they knew it. It's like, yeah, it wasn't our best performance. But I mean, I didn't give them too much crap about it. I mean, we don't play for them anymore. We can always support them, but they knew what happened.
Yeah. I mean, I saw
Andre's a tough guy, I'm sure, to like give crap to. He's a
I saw Colt McCoy had to wear like a Texas Tech jersey after they beat us in the Arizona locker room. I'm sure Cliff Kingsbury gave him crap for that, but yeah, always have to ask,
Yeah, I think so. Cody Davis, he played at Texas Tech, and me and Adrian Phillips had to wear Texas Tech jerseys and take a picture with him after that game. So I mean, there's always that kind of competitive edge still, but it's all fun and games.
Yeah. I mean, the Tech was a tough one, and there's definitely been a couple weird random nights at 3 a.m. I'd be like, God, I can't believe we lost that game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just have like that thought, like of like all the things going on in my life. Like that's what causes, the people stress. And we've given Hudson like an interesting time on our show. We've obviously praised him, and we've also, spoke candidly about him. But what are some things, that we may not see in the locker room? Because I will say this, one of the most valiant things Hudson did was stick with it when they gave the job. They all but gave the job to Ewers from the jump. Like they gave it to him. Hudson didn't transfer, stayed, and by and large, thank God we had him, because it's like saved our season and kept our season together. What does that say about Hudson, as a person, as a leader, that the fans and media may not see off the field?
I mean, I think he just loves his teammates. I mean, that's what at the end of the day, that's who you're really playing for out there. I mean, because as soon as you step on the field, the coaches aren't out there, the fans aren't out there, media's not out there. It's like you and the guy next to you. And as cliche as it sounds, I mean, it's true. It's because like if you don't trust and you don't like genuinely like your guys, it's gonna be hard to form that connection and that bond. And when you're out there and it's crunch time that you need. So I think like a lot of people really don't see that. It's just like the genuine love that he has for the game and his teammates, where he's gonna go out there and do whatever he's asked to the best of his ability.
Yeah. I mean, it's blatant. You're one of the boys here, man. But I'm going to make you potentially pick between two right here. Who are you most impressed with when, in your Texas days in 40 acres? X-Man or Dijon? Who kind of blew you away more? It's a tough one.
That is tough. Because I mean, when X first got on campus, you could tell, I mean, this kid's got some wheels to him. Yeah. And I think he really grew once, his confidence was there. And he does things for the team that, I think they wouldn't be where they are right now without him. And I could say the exact same thing about Bijan. As soon as he stepped on the campus, like this was the guy. And he's only embraced it, and he's only taken on the load more since he's been there. And I mean, he's the workhorse right now. Him and Rowe are just the workhorses back there. So I mean, without those two, especially Bijan, I mean, if I had to pick one, I think I'm gonna have to go with Bijan, just because like you hand that boy the rock, he's gonna get you yards, and he's gonna wear and tear the whole defense, the whole game. And it's gonna be ugly for the defense at the end of the game.
That's the kicker on him. It's like you watch the big runs are amazing. Like everyone will always point to those, but it's like when he runs into the line and it's like, all right, this is a 1 yard play, and the next thing you know, you see him like slip and slither through, and we're at like 7 or 8 yards. Like how it's the 7-8 yards, 7-8 yards. It's like the chunk plays,
Yeah.
the short chunk plays that he gets. He's so committed to moving the ball. I can't remember the last time I saw him have like a real negative play. I'm sure he has, but like the negative plays are so rare with that guy.
Yeah. And I mean,
think-
like, he's got so much power too behind him. Like,
Mhm.
I think that last offseason going into my last year at Texas, like me and him were like on the same squat rack. I'm just like, we can't do it. We can't do this much longer, guys. Like, kid's just got crazy strong legs, and he's got the ability to just run you over. And then there's been, I can't even account how many times in practice, I'm coming in, I'm like, I got a great angle on him. I'm gonna make a good tackle, and it's just like that side cut. It's like, oh, there we go. It's like type thing. So I mean, the kid's just got all the intangibles you want. Catch the ball out of the backfield, made that huge play out of the backfield against Iowa State. Took the hit and came up with the ball still. So it's like the kid can just do it all.
Without a doubt, is he your number one running back taken in the draft next year?
Yeah.
Gotta be.
And
right?
I'm like, I might be a little biased because he's my dog. Like, me and Bijan are super good friends, but like, I just really don't see anybody else going above him.
I mean, he's everything he's
I
been
think-
he's done everything promised, basically.
Yeah.
He was a highly recruit, and like now he's just showing out every week. He gets stronger, 100-yard game, and like the pass catching ability is ridiculous.
It's insane. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I think probably collectively the four of us have all watched a lot of ball, and
Mhm.
obviously, Brenden, you've played a lot of ball. Like, he does things that I've never seen other guys do before, which is saying something. Like
Yeah.
some of those cuts, some of those, the way he bounces off guys, it's like a little. I mean, Kamara, I guess, like when he was, his first couple of years in the league, where he was just so
Mhm.
elusive and no one could even get a wrap on that guy. Like, it's wild. It's wild.
No,
What-
it's awesome
so
to
you-
watch.
You're a Cali guy, right?
Mhm.
Grew up in Cali. Did you
Mhm.
surf when you were growing up?
Yeah, I learned how to surf when I was like 5 years old.
Yeah, well,
that's
a shocker.
I feel like not
right?
enough. I feel like not enough people are talking about, like, he got his feet from surfing first. That's where the balance comes from. That's why he's
Exactly.
give it a few weeks. That's what they'll be talking about. I'm calling it now. That's my one call.
Yeah.
Not a lot of waves in New England, though.
Yeah, not a lot of good ones.
Yeah, dude, you know what? Stick around in the summer. I'm originally from up there, from Long Island. Go to like Maine, go to like Long Island in the summer. Stick around up there. Like, I don't
He's
know.
gonna come back to Cali in the summer, bro.
Yeah,
He's not sticking up there.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
I'm just like,
Never
we'll see
mind.
about
Don't
that.
take my travel. You could punt my travel plans. You could punt them. You could get rid of them. No need to take the advice. All right, let's.
I've always wanted to ask,
Yeah.
because this day and age, we see so many guys transferring here and there, and it's always nice, to see guys get bigger and better opportunities. For you, though, like, did they both have a really special place in your heart, Oregon and Texas, equally, or like, did you find yourself favoring one over the other? I don't want to put you on the spot, but like,
No, you're good. I think Oregon, like, I had a really solid group of friends. Like, I lived in a house with 6 other guys, and they were like my best friends up there. Like, we did everything together. So I had like a solid group up there, and I think that's what made it so much fun, is we did everything together and we were with each other all the time. And like, I'm not a big fan of like Oregon in the rain and the cloudiness and the everything looking so sad, but being with those guys, I think, helped a lot. And I met a lot of really cool people, a lot of really good connections up there, and getting to play for the University of Oregon is like, especially being on the West Coast, it's a big thing over there to do that. So
those uniforms
getting
too.
yeah, and playing in Autzen, I mean, I don't think I've been in a lot of stadiums that have been louder than Autzen. So it's like a kick-ass place to play. And then you come to Texas, and you got the tradition and the love of the game and the passion from the fans, and all the cool stuff that comes along with getting to play at the University of Texas. It's a real close tie. I mean, the atmosphere at both stadiums is unmatched. So like, if I'd have to flip a coin, and just whatever one it lands on, I'm like, all right, I'll be cool with either one.
If Texas and Oregon are playing at the same time on a Saturday, I mean, are you trying to put both of them on, or what? Like double screen?
Yeah, I mean, I watch more Texas because I know more guys there, and I think I think since I've been out of Oregon, I think there's been like, this is their second head coach since I've left. So like,
it's a whole
I don't know a whole lot of guys there. I think I know like the head EQ guy there, maybe like a handful of players still.
Right.
But at
Look,
Texas, I know
at the end of the day, your Madden player card says Texas. So that's all I gotta say.
exactly. I just have more connections now at Texas, and I know a whole lot more people. So if I'm watching, I'm watching Texas
I
on
also
Saturdays.
feel like Austin is one of those places, and we talk about this all the time with Quan, but it's a place where players want to come back and like enjoy the city and like go back to university. And like nothing against Oregon, but I don't necessarily think that a ton of players are going back to Eugene to like live there and like, you know, do much of anything there besides go to a game.
Yeah. And so like my folks live just north of Austin and Round Rock right now. So
nice.
When I do
I'm from
go
Georgetown,
visit, like,
so
there we go, right next to each other. When I go back to visit them, you know, I always head back into Austin, you know, go down to 6th Street, like say hi to all my buddies, you know, have a good time. So it's like it's definitely a place that I love going back to and visiting. And, you know, I could definitely see myself living in Texas, like once football's all said and done. And, you know, maybe it depends, like it could be, you know, Dallas area, Fort Worth, or Austin. I'd be fine with either one of those.
Yep.
So I love it out there in Texas, though.
What was your
Cut your
favorite
hair if it's gonna be Dallas Fort Worth though? Be careful, dude. Like, I don't know
What
if
was
you
your
wanna-
favorite
Yeah.
what was your favorite Oregon uniform to put on? There's so many.
Yeah. I think my favorite one was my sophomore year. It was like our Stomp Out Cancer ones. It was like all white with some yellow in it and silver, and we had like the chrome helmets with the wings on it.
Ooh.
And I've got some pretty cool pictures of like you could see just the reflection of everything. Those are probably like my favorite ones we got to wear. It was pretty cool.
That's dope.
How has Herbert exceeded your expectations in the NFL, or is this kind of what you saw? Because
this is what I saw.
You knew. Okay.
Yeah, I mean the kid, like our freshman year together, we're in the off season and we're playing like pickup basketball against, you know, some frat guys, and I get a rebound and I'm going down the right side of the court and I see him streaking down the left. He like throws the hand up. I'm like, all right, Allie, throw it up. And the ball's got to be like almost top of the square. And he just goes up one hand and just like throws it straight down. And I'm like, yo, what just happened? Like that's our quarterback right there. And so the kid is an all-state player in basketball, baseball, and football in high school. Like kid's a freak athlete.
That's crazy.
Insane. I mean, the same thing happened to me actually freshman year with Tyrone Swoops, but he's like he was an NFL tight end, you know, like, and I mean, but like Swoops is one of the craziest athletes that we saw at Texas. The fact that Herbert is going up there and like it's not even like you're just throwing up there, he's getting everyone. He's like telling you to do it. Like, it's
he's like,
reverse.
throw
like,
it up.
Like if he didn't play quarterback, he could totally play tight end.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Nuts.
Cool.
Yeah,
He's like fast too. He's fast. Like,
yeah,
people don't realize it, but he can move. It's kind of scary.
No, he's him. Like, I mean, Allen and Hurts, like these guys get all the credit, but like it's no shake on guys like Herbert, Mahomes. Like these guys are still like very like I saw Mahomes make a run the other day. That was like a 13-yard escape, and his footwork coming out, you know, and getting over the line and just getting out of bounds and getting the extra inch every time. Like these guys are so agile, so athletic.
Oh yeah.
These days, it's honestly insane. What are some of your favorite things? Like, you know, because obviously we all love Austin. 6th Street's incredible. And, you know, when everyone, I mean, look, people like, why is Austin so great? I'm like, you know, everyone's young, the women are great, the food's better, and the drinking's the best. Like, how, like, you can't really beat Austin. But out of
I'm not gonna complain.
what are some of your favorite things to do in Austin, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, I love going on the lakes, man. Whether it's Austin or Travis, like I got a buddy who's got a lake house on Travis, and then we know a bunch of guys who got boats on Austin. So I mean, I love going out in the water in the summertime and just being out there all day long, and then getting to come back, regroup, and go out on 6th Street, hit rainy.
long
you know,
days.
I mean, it was those are fun days though. Like on the weekends when you had off time, I love getting to do that stuff. Go outside, do something, go skeet shooting with me and my brother. You know, whatever it was we were doing, I was like, I just want to be outside enjoying, you know, the nice weather.
When did your family move to Round Rock?
So they moved up to Round Rock about, I want to say, so I was there I got there right before the season started. And so they came out to my games and they kind of saw what Austin was all about and what Texas was all about.
Oh, wow.
And they moved out there, I want to say I want to say like going into spring ball, that's when they kind of got out there. So like in March, around that time.
Nice.
So they've been out there for a little while now, but I was like, yeah, you guys should come
Yeah.
out here for games, see what it's all about. Because my
Yeah.
dad's been wanting to move to Texas forever.
100%.
And so kind of convinced my mom, and then they've been out there ever since.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were out there before you or you out there before them. I moved to Texas from San Diego when I was 11, so I'm kind of same boat a little bit, California boy,
Yeah.
Texas boy, but still respect the California teams and then of course my Texas Longhorns.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. We always ask all our guests this. Everyone answers it. It could be from you playing, watching, could be, last weekend, 2 weekends ago, could be your first moment, could be even before you played college ball. What is your favorite memory as a Texas Longhorn?
I would have to say my first touchdown. I mean, because like I was there for a week and a half before our first game, got thrown in there, catch a hitch route, flip the formation, another hitch route, and turn around, stiff arm the guy, and take it to the crib. So like 2 catches for like 50 yards and a touchdown. So I think that's probably like my favorite memory from there is just like getting there, getting thrown out there and just scoring and just being like, well, this is what it's going to be
And
like.
that was at home too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like there's nothing like scoring at Texas at home, just throwing up the horns and the entire
Yep.
stadium goes
the
crazy.
cannon, how loud was it? How did time move for you? Like you get to the end zone, did like you black out kind of thing, or did like things like almost or freeze frame like in a bit, like the sounds and everything?
Yeah, I mean, like it happened so quick that like when it's over, you're like, what just happened? And like it kind of slowly pieces back, like, okay, I remember doing this, but it all just like happened so quick, and it's just like muscle memory of like you see something happening, stiff arm or making a tackle, whatever it is, jumping on a fumble. It's just it happens so quick that it's just instinct. And you don't really have time to be like, oh my gosh, this is happening, until it actually happens, and you're like, okay, like let's go back and what just actually happened.
Yeah.
So that's what it was kind of like.
That's that now that my head is in a blender. Talk about an ultimate shower thought, like everything, like all these athletes like acting on instinct and then like having to go back and like really think about all that. It's just it's a mind meld in itself. Well, Brenden, thank you so much for joining us, man. Appreciate you. We'll get you back on with Q if your game. Hopefully, the horns. So hopefully it's just this. We're big Kool-Aid drinkers. We're big USC's already lost. Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley are down bad.
Caleb's
We're
crying.
already counting the teams in front of us going down. And hopefully it's a big trajectory. But keep doing your thing, man. Keep busting ass for the Pats and keep working your ass off. We'd love to see it out there.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate y'all having me on the show.
Yeah, awesome, man.
Of course.